I want you to think about something I have noticed after more than 30 years of practicing medicine. There is a moment that happens in my office more often than I wish it did. Someone walks in, maybe 72, maybe 75, and they tell me about a fall they had last week. Nothing dramatic, they say. Just stepped off a curb wrong, or reached for something on a high shelf and lost their balance. But then they show me the x-ray, and there it is, a fracture. Sometimes in the wrist, sometimes in the hip, sometimes in the spine. And what strikes me every single time is not the fall itself, because falls happen to all of us at some point. What strikes me is how surprised they are that their bones broke from something so minor. They look at me with genuine confusion and ask how this could happen from such a small thing, and I have to tell them something they do not want to hear. Your bones have been getting weaker for years, and you never knew it was happening. Let me tell you what most people do not understand about bone health after 70. They think bones are like the frame of a house, something that gets built once and stays solid forever unless something catastrophic happens. But that is not how bones work at all. Bones are living tissue, constantly breaking down and rebuilding themselves every single day of your life. When you are young, your body builds bone faster than it breaks it down. But somewhere around your 30s, that process starts to shift. The breakdown begins to outpace the building. And if you do nothing to slow that process down, by the time you reach 70, your bones can become so fragile that even the smallest stumble can lead to a serious fracture. The tragedy is that so many of the things people do after 70, things they think are helping them stay healthy or keeping them safe, are actually making their bones weaker, and they have no idea. Here's what I see happen all the time. Someone retires and they finally have time to relax. They have worked hard their entire lives, and now they feel like they have earned the right to take it easy. So they stop moving as much. They spend more time sitting, more time on the couch, more time doing sedentary activities, and I completely understand why. Their joints ache, their energy is not what it used to be, and rest feels like the right thing to do. But here's the problem. When you stop moving, your bones stop getting the signals they need to stay strong. Bone is built in response to stress, not the emotional kind, but the physical kind. When you walk, when you stand, when you carry things, your bones feel that pressure and they respond by reinforcing themselves. But when you stop putting that stress on your bones, they start to weaken. It is not a choice your body makes. It is a biological response. Your body says, if we are not using these bones, we do not need to keep them strong. And so they thin out, they become porous, they become brittle. And then one day, you step off a curb and everything changes. I have watched this happen to so many people, and it breaks my heart because it is preventable. After decades of seeing the same patterns repeat over and over, I have learned that the single most important thing you can do for your bones after 70 is to keep moving. Not in some extreme way. You do not need to run marathons or lift heavy weights at the gym, but you need to move your body in ways that put gentle stress on your bones. Walking is one of the best things you can do. When you walk, every step sends a signal to your bones that they are still needed, that they still have work to do. And when your bones get that signal, they respond by staying strong. But it has to be regular. It has to be consistent. Walking once a week is not enough. Your bones need that signal every single day. I tell my patients to think of it like watering a plant. You cannot water a plant once and expect it to thrive for the next month. You have to keep watering it day after day. The same is true for your bones. You have to keep moving day after day to keep them strong. But here is where so many people make a mistake, and I see this all the time. They think that because they are moving around the house, doing light chores, maybe walking to the mailbox, that is enough. And I understand why they think that. It feels like movement, but the truth is that kind of low-intensity activity is not enough to keep your bones strong. Your bones need more than just gentle movement. They need impact, they need weight, they need resistance. When you walk on a flat surface at a slow pace, your bones are not getting the kind of stress they need to rebuild themselves. You need to walk with purpose. You need to walk at a pace that makes your heart beat a little faster, that makes you breathe a little harder. You need to walk on surfaces that are not perfectly flat, so your body has to adjust and balance. You need to climb stairs when you can. You need to carry things, even if it is just a light bag of groceries. These small increases in intensity make a huge difference to your bones. They tell your bones that they still need to be strong because you are still doing things that require strength. And then there is another thing people do after 70 that weakens their bones without them realizing it. They become afraid of falling, afraid of getting hurt, afraid of doing too much. And I understand that fear, I really do. When you have seen friends or family members fall and break a hip, when you have heard the stories about how long recovery takes, it makes sense that you would want to avoid that at all costs. But what happens is that fear becomes a cage. People start avoiding anything that feels even slightly risky. They stop going for walks because they are worried about uneven pavement. They stop climbing stairs because they are worried about losing their balance. They stop doing activities they used to enjoy because they are worried something might happen, and in trying to protect themselves, they actually make themselves weaker. Because when you stop challenging your body, when you stop moving in ways that require balance and coordination and strength, your bones get weaker, your muscles get weaker, and your risk of falling actually goes up. It is the opposite of what you want. Let me tell you something I have learned after many years as a doctor. The best way to prevent a fall is not to avoid movement. It is to build strength. When your bones are strong, when your muscles are strong, when your balance is good, you are far less likely to fall in the first place. And if you do fall, you are far less likely to break something. I have seen people in their 80s who move with confidence, who walk every day, who stay active, and when they do stumble, they catch themselves. Their bodies are strong enough to recover. But I have also seen people in their 70s who have spent years avoiding movement out of fear, and when they fall, their bones shatter. The difference is not luck. The difference is how they have been living. Now, I want to talk about something else that weakens bones after 70, and this is something most people do not think about at all: nutrition. Specifically, not getting enough calcium and vitamin D. I cannot tell you how many times I have asked a patient what they are eating, and they tell me they are trying to eat healthy. They have cut out fat, they have cut out dairy, they are eating more vegetables, and those are good things. But when I dig a little deeper, I realize they are not getting nearly enough calcium. They stopped drinking milk years ago because someone told them it was bad for them. They do not eat cheese because they are worried about cholesterol. They do not eat yogurt because they think it has too much sugar. And maybe they take a calcium supplement once in a while when they remember. But that is not enough. Your bones need calcium every single day to rebuild themselves. And if you're not getting enough calcium from your diet, your body will take it from your bones. It has no choice. Calcium is essential for so many functions in your body, not just bone health. Your heart needs it, your muscles need it, your nerves need it. So if you are not eating enough calcium, your body will steal it from your bones to keep everything else running. And over time, that makes your bones weaker and weaker. And then there is vitamin D, which is just as important as calcium, maybe even more important. Vitamin D helps your body absorb calcium. Without enough vitamin D, it does not matter how much calcium you eat, your body cannot use it properly. And the problem is, as you get older, your body becomes less efficient at making vitamin D from sunlight. Your skin changes, your kidneys change, and you just do not produce as much as you used to. So even if you spend time outside, even if you live in a sunny place, you might still be deficient in vitamin D. And most people have no idea because there are no obvious symptoms. You do not feel vitamin D deficiency the way you feel a cold or a headache. It happens quietly in the background while your bones get weaker and weaker. I check vitamin D levels in all of my patients over 70, and I would say at least half of them are deficient. And when I tell them that, they are shocked. They had no idea. So what do you do about it? You make sure you're getting enough calcium and vitamin D every single day. That means eating foods that are rich in calcium. Dairy is one of the best sources, but if you do not eat dairy, there are other options. Leafy greens like kale and collard greens have calcium. Canned fish with bones like sardines and salmon have calcium. Fortified foods like orange juice and cereals can have calcium. And if you cannot get enough from food, then yes, take a supplement. But talk to your doctor first, because too much calcium can cause problems too. And for vitamin D, the best approach is to get your levels checked and then supplement based on what your body needs. Some people need a little, some people need a lot. It depends on your individual situation, but do not ignore it. This is one of the simplest, most effective things you can do to protect your bones, and so many people overlook it. There is something else I need to mention, and this one is harder for people to hear: alcohol. I know that for many people, having a drink in the evening is a part of their routine. It is something they enjoy, something that helps them relax. And I am not here to tell you that you can never have a drink. But I do need to tell you that alcohol weakens your bones. It interferes with the way your body absorbs calcium. It disrupts the balance between bone breakdown and bone rebuilding. And if you are drinking regularly, especially more than 1 or 2 drinks a day, you are putting your bones at risk. I have had patients who could not understand why their bones were so weak when they were doing everything else right. They were walking every day, they were taking their calcium and vitamin D, they were eating well, but they were also drinking 3 or 4 glasses of wine every night, and that was enough to undermine everything else they were doing. I am not saying you have to give up alcohol completely, but I am saying you need to be honest with yourself about how much you are drinking and what it might be doing to your bones. Moderation matters, and if you are struggling to cut back, that is something worth talking to your doctor about. And then there is smoking. I know, you have heard it a million times. Smoking is bad for you, but let me tell you specifically what it does to your bones. Smoking reduces blood flow to your bones, which means they do not get the oxygen and nutrients they need to stay healthy. It interferes with the cells that build new bone. It reduces your body's ability to absorb calcium, and it increases the rate at which your bones break down. If you are still smoking after 70, your bones are weaker than they should be, period. And I understand that quitting is hard. I have had patients who have been smoking for 50 years, and the idea of quitting feels impossible, but it is never too late. Even if you quit at 70, at 75, at 80, your bones will start to recover. It will not happen overnight, but it will happen. And the sooner you quit, the better your bones will be in the years to come. Now, I want to circle back to something I mentioned earlier because I think it is one of the most overlooked aspects of bone health: balance. Your bones can be strong, but if your balance is poor, you are still at high risk of falling and breaking something. And balance is something that declines naturally as you age. The systems in your body that help you stay balanced, your inner ear, your vision, the nerves in your feet that sense the ground beneath you, all of those systems become less sharp over time. And if you do not work on maintaining your balance, it gets worse and worse. I see people who shuffle when they walk because they do not trust their balance anymore. And that shuffling gait actually makes them more likely to trip over small obstacles. I see people who hold on to furniture as they move through their house because they feel unsteady. And while that might prevent a fall in the moment, it does not address the underlying problem, which is that their balance is deteriorating. The good news is that balance is something you can improve at any age. There are simple exercises you can do every single day to strengthen the systems that keep you balanced. Standing on one foot for 30 seconds at a time, walking heel to toe in a straight line, standing up from a chair without using your hands. These are not complicated exercises, but they make a real difference, and the more you practice them, the better your balance gets. I tell my patients to incorporate balance exercises into their daily routine. Do them while you are brushing your teeth, while you are waiting for your coffee to brew, while you are watching television. It does not have to be a separate workout. It just has to be something you do consistently. Because balance is like a muscle. If you do not use it, you lose it. But if you work on it, it gets stronger. And here is something else that helps with balance that most people do not think about. Strength. Specifically, strength in your legs and your core. When your legs are strong, they can catch you if you start to lose your balance. When your core is strong, it stabilizes your whole body and makes it easier to stay upright. I have patients in their 80s who do simple strength exercises a few times a week, things like squats while holding onto a counter or leg lifts while sitting in a chair, and their balance has improved dramatically. They feel more confident when they walk. They feel steadier on their feet, and that confidence makes a huge difference in how they move through the world. They are not afraid anymore. They trust their bodies, and that trust allows them to stay active, which keeps their bones strong, which reduces their risk of fractures. It is all connected. I also want to talk about something that does not get enough attention when it comes to bone health, and that is sleep. Your body does most of its repair work while you are sleeping. That includes rebuilding bone. If you are not getting enough sleep, or if your sleep is poor quality, your bones are not getting the time they need to rebuild themselves. And I know that sleep gets harder as you get older. You wake up more often during the night. You have trouble falling back asleep. You wake up early and cannot get back to sleep. There are a lot of reasons for this, and some of them are medical issues that need to be addressed. Sleep apnea, restless leg syndrome, chronic pain, all of these things can disrupt your sleep and need to be treated. But there are also simple things you can do to improve your sleep. Going to bed at the same time every night, keeping your bedroom cool and dark, avoiding screens for an hour before bed, not drinking caffeine in the afternoon. These small changes can make a big difference in the quality of your sleep, which in turn makes a big difference in the health of your bones. Let me tell you something I have seen over and over again in my practice. The people who age well, who stay strong and healthy into their 70s, 80s, and beyond, are not the people who have perfect genes or who have never had any health problems. They are the people who take responsibility for their health every single day. They are the people who keep moving, even when it would be easier to sit down. They are the people who eat well, even when it would be easier to eat whatever is convenient. They are the people who make sleep a priority, who manage their stress, who stay connected to other people. They are the people who understand that their health is not something that just happens to them. It is something they have control over. And they make choices every single day that support their health, even when those choices are hard. And I want to be clear about something. I am not talking about perfection. You do not have to do everything right all the time. You do not have to walk 10,000 steps every day or eat a perfect diet or never have a glass of wine. That is not realistic, and that is not what I am asking of you. What I am asking is that you pay attention, that you notice what your body needs, and that you do your best to give it what it needs most of the time, that you make small, consistent choices that add up over time. Because that is what makes the difference. Not one big change, but 100 small changes, repeated day after day, year after year. I have had patients tell me that they feel like it is too late. They are 70, they are 75, they are 80, and they think the damage is done. But let me tell you something I have learned after decades in medicine. It is never too late. Your body has an incredible ability to heal and rebuild, even at an advanced age. I have seen people in their 80s start walking regularly and build bone density. I have seen people quit smoking after 50 years and watch their health improve. I have seen people make changes to their diet and their activity level and completely transform how they feel. It takes time, it takes effort, but it is possible, and it is worth it. Because here is what I know. The choices you make today will determine how you feel 5 years from now, 10 years from now. If you keep doing the things that weaken your bones, if you keep avoiding movement, if you keep neglecting your nutrition, your bones will get weaker and weaker, and your risk of a serious fracture will get higher and higher. But if you start making different choices, if you start moving more, if you start eating the foods your bones need, if you start working on your balance and your strength, your bones will respond. They will get stronger, and you will feel the difference. You will feel more confident. You will feel more capable. You will feel more alive. I think about all the patients I have seen over the years who wish they had started taking care of their bones sooner, the ones who are now dealing with fractures, with surgeries, with long recoveries, with loss of independence. And I think about the patients who did start taking care of their bones, who made those small, consistent choices, and who are now living full, active lives well into their 80s and 90s. The difference between those two groups is not genetics. It is not luck. It is choices, small choices made every single day that add up to something much bigger. So I want to ask you to think about what you are doing right now. Are you moving your body every day in ways that challenge your bones? Are you getting enough calcium and vitamin D? Are you working on your balance and your strength? Are you getting enough sleep? Are you drinking too much alcohol? Are you still smoking? These are not easy questions, and the answers might not be what you want to hear, but they are important questions. Because your bones are not going to stay strong on their own. They need you to take care of them. And if you do not start now, when will you start? I have spent my entire career trying to help people live healthier, longer lives. And one of the most important lessons I have learned is that the body you have at 80 is the result of the choices you made at 70, at 60, at 50. You cannot change the past, but you can change what you do today. And what you do today will shape your future. So take care of your bones, move your body, eat well, sleep well, work on your balance, stay strong, not because you have to, but because you deserve to live the rest of your life with strength, with confidence, with independence. Your bones are counting on you. Do not let them down.